Viewers, welcome to Catch Up on Radio Metro Mail. In Catch Up, as you know, that we invite people, those who have interest in politics or wish to be in the politics. Today we have a very special guest with us who has been in politics for quite a long time, who has been elected as MPP from Southwest, Scarborough Southwest for last 4 terms, right?
Yes, since 2003.
That's right. So we have Mr. Lorenzo Berardenitti. So welcome to our show.
Thanks for allowing me to be on your show. Thank you, Imam.
So we will be definitely talking about the election because the advance poll have already started and people started voting, many people, and the final date for the election is on 7th June, just a week ahead, right?
Yeah, about 9 days ahead.
8-9 days ahead.
Yeah.
How is your campaign going for last 1 week? So what are you doing? What is your plan?
Well, I've been knocking on a lot of doors and the response has been excellent. In this area that I represent, people know me, as you mentioned earlier. I've been here since 2003 and people like me. Not everybody, but they like me and the response has been exceptionally good for me. So I'm very pleased with people that I speak to on the street, and I like to meet as many people as possible.
Okay, so you have been here for last 15 years almost,
Yes.
since 2003.
Yes.
As an elected MPP.
Correct.
That. So why do you think that people of the Southwest, Scarborough Southwest will vote for you for the 5th time, or they will elect you for the 5th time?
Well, I think it's a very excellent question. I'm a community-based politician, and I like to help out the community. For example, there's a hospital in my riding called Providence Healthcare, and I've been able to lobby the government to put in millions of dollars to improve this facility, which is also a long-term care facility and also a facility for people with Alzheimer's and other things as well. But every year I make sure that we get money in the budget to go to that facility. We also have Variety Village in this area. Variety Village is a facility for people that usually they're in wheelchairs, people that cannot walk or have trouble walking, and it's a very large facility with an indoor.
I know the place. I used to go there. Yeah.
Yeah, very large track and very large swimming pool. So just 2 weeks ago, I announced another $5 million of funding to fix the bathrooms and to fix some other parts of the facility for the people here in Scarborough Southwest. I like doing that. When a school is old, I want to have it rebuilt or have it repaired. I enjoy helping my residents, and I want to continue doing that for at least the next 4 years.
Okay, that's great. So when you are meeting, as you said that you are out there in campaigning, canvassing. Yes. So when you're out there, when you're meeting people,
yes,
what is the one important message that you are giving to them?
Well, I've had a good record in power, as you said, but they want a government that is transparent and that doesn't make promises it can't keep. And I like our platform. The Liberal platform is very good. So
you said that you have served this community almost 15 years.
Yeah.
What are the important things or significant things that you have done so far?
Okay, I mentioned Providence Healthcare, I mentioned Variety Village. I also want to mention that I passed a bill which became law in 2016 in the legislature here in Ontario, proclaiming the month of March as Bengali Heritage Month. And I'm very proud to have done that because we know that March is a very, very important month for people from Bangladesh. March 25th, we know Independence Day is during that time period. We also raise a flag at the legislature. We raised the Bangladesh flag along with the Canadian flag, and I'm very happy to have done that because we have a very large Bangladesh community here in Scarborough Southwest.
Oh, that's great. So viewers, we are talking to Lorenzo Berardenitti. He is the current MPP from Scarborough Southwest, and he is again contesting for the same MPP position from this riding. So the next question I would like to ask you that, are there any specific things that you are planning for this riding that people should be excited about, those things that you are planning?
Yes. Well, besides improving schools and other things, I would like to be able to find a piece of land here in Scarborough Southwest to create a monument. So for International Mother Language Day and I'm working on that with the government, and we need to purchase a piece of land and put the monument. I would like it very much to be in Scarborough Southwest, in this area here, so I'd like to do that and put the monument up. I'd also like to make sure that the schools are running properly. We have a platform where we're going to introduce child care, basically for any child 2.5 years old or older than 2.5 years. We will pay for the daycare, the government will, and right until they go to junior kindergarten. And of course, junior kindergarten is free, the daycare, and same with senior kindergarten. It's free as well. So that means that it could save a family up to $17,000 a year in childcare costs. That's something I want to do and make sure it happens.
So this is for everybody, or this has some income limit that those who are below this income level, they will?
No income limit.
So it's
for everybody, yes, which is very good.
Okay. So the other thing, when we talk about the different issues on Ontario,
yes,
one of the important issue which is quite often talked about is violence against women. Do you think that you have the same issue here in your riding as well?
Well, it's all across Ontario. I'm not going to say particularly in Scarborough Southwest, but it's something that our government takes very seriously. The Liberal government takes very seriously. We've enacted legislation to protect women, and we're providing more funding for women's shelters here in Ontario. We have some here in Scarborough Southwest. They run very, very well, and they help women who are experiencing violence to stay in these facilities until something can be arranged.
So one is definitely, you have mentioned that one aspect of the whole addressing the problem is the shelter home, right?
Yes.
So do you think that is there any other approach that can be addressed or that can be included in the program so that, you know, violence against women, we can stop that?
Yes, I think prevention is the key.
Yeah.
Prevent it from happening in the first place. Provide counseling. But, you know, if there's an argument or husband and wife argue with each other, I think it's important that they be able to get proper counseling. Not everyone in Scarborough Southwest speaks English. The counselors have to speak different languages. Probably, if, you know, for example, Bengali, but also Filipino, Chinese, Italian, that are in this riding, Greek as well. It's a very important issue, and I think that the counseling, if you can hire more people to provide that counseling free of charge, I think would be very, very important to do.
Yeah.
We are approaching that quietly, but we don't have enough counselors, because when almost every marriage goes through an argument, you're going to have an argument. Yeah. Every marriage is part of that. And so when they argue, and if they argue a lot, then perhaps they should get some counseling. Before that will be a good thing to do before any violence happens.
Okay. So you were talking about the school, the Ontario school, particularly in your riding.
Yes.
I have visited a number of schools in this riding. I found that child poverty is an issue. Even child nutrition is an issue.
Yes.
Resources were not distributed equally in every schools.
Yes.
So how will you try, or how will you bring equity into these schools in terms of resource allocation?
Yes, it's a very important point you bring up, UM, and I think that we have to put more money invested into schools. We have made schooling a priority. We have smaller class sizes than before, and there are parts of the riding here where the income level is very low, and children go to school without any lunch. So we're providing lunch if we can, and there's a lot of schools in the riding, a lot of small schools, large schools, public schools, separate schools. So we're trying to provide the funding for food so they can eat at least a healthy lunch. It's something we've addressed ever since the Liberals got into power in 2003, and it's something we want to continue to address. And that's why I'm running, because there are still problems like this, and I don't like to see children going to sleep at night without food in their stomach.
Yeah. So how do you plan this to address, like, how do you like to select these schools, like those schools, because in your riding there are a number of schools?
Yes. Well, we outreach to these school trustees, and the school trustees are elected to represent the schools and to bring their concerns to the provincial government. And we want to continue that conversation, that dialogue between the schools and our government, provincial government, so that we can provide funding and help to the schools that need the most help.
Okay. And the other problem in this school is that I think probably you are aware of that special need support is not at all available in number of schools.
Yes.
There are number of kids they need special need support, but unfortunately because due to the lack of resources, they cannot provide them those supports.
Yes. We are providing funding in the budget to deal with this issue. It's very important. There are many students that need special needs, and we have focused heavily. We've invested heavily, not just recently, but going back to 2003, and we continue to put money into the school system, into different parts of the school system, into areas like you said, special needs. We put money in there so to make sure that children with those needs are looked after. We've also put in. Some people need help in the sense that I've met some students that need special attention. So we have a program in the province called ODSP, Ontario Disability Support Program, for people and children with disabilities. And in our budget, we passed that funding will increase 3% over the next 3 years. So 3% 1 year, then another 3%, then another 3%, because we want to give the families extra money to be able to pay for, if they want to pay for it, extra special needs as well.
I think probably you are mentioning, you're talking about the funding which has been allocated for the families, those who have children with autism. So government has passed that, I think, legislation, and they have confirmed that funding is there. But unfortunately, we have got number of information from number of families. They have been promised that they will get this money, but they haven't yet received any money. It's for last.
Well, so it passed, and we did the budget back in a few months ago, and the money has to still flow out of the treasury. And if we get reelected, we can use that money and allocate it to special needs family. But it's slowly, we can't do it overnight, like pass the budget and then give the money the next day. It takes a bit of time to do that, to find the families that need the most help and to give them the money they need.
Okay, the health is a big issue in the community. They always, wherever we go, they talk about the health issue. Our emergency service is not, providing the services as people expected. Long-term, long waiting time is an issue. Long-term care is an issue. So, how you are planning to address those issues in future?
Yes. So we are, in Scarborough Southwest, it is an Asian community. There are a lot of seniors that need help. So one of the things we've done is try to keep some people home by giving them money. So in our budget, when they reach 75, they'll be able to get up to almost $800 in money to provide for services like cleaning the house, or cleaning outside the house or inside, providing other services. We also, for seniors, we also have, we've hired more personal support workers. They come in the house and they shower the elderly people once or twice or three times a week. So we're putting extra money into that, so to make sure that people stay home and don't have to end up in nursing homes. Those that do go to nursing homes, we provide a lot of money to make sure the nursing homes run properly. We've hired more physiotherapists, more doctors to work in these nursing homes to help the elderly.
Okay, so the other problem I think probably is affordable housing, as you have mentioned something about that. What strategies do you have to support or to increase the available, to make available affordable housing in the community?
Yes, well, we've done we passed the bill for rent control. And this includes every rental unit in Scarborough Southwest and in all of Ontario. We've frozen the rent. If the landlord wants to increase it, they have to go through a process, because some people were complaining to us, the government, and even to me as an MPP, saying, my rent keeps going up. So we passed the bill. It's frozen for all buildings. And
so you're talking about the condos and the apartments?
Yes.
Okay.
So the rent cannot go up. They can't increase it 5 or 10%, Because in some cases they were doing that, the landlords. And the tenants were complaining. So we put in rent control, which is very, very important. An important part of our platform too is rent control. And always if we could build more units is good as well. We need to allocate money, and we've allocated money to fix some of the units. I've been in many of the units, apartments or townhouses, as you said, and they get old. They may have holes in the wall, or the bathroom may not flush the toilet may not flush properly in the bathroom, and there could be leaks coming out of the kitchen, out of the faucet, and those things cost money to repair. So we're putting money in to help people who live in these units so that they can fix their bathroom, their toilet, other parts of their unit as well.
Okay. Huge number of people, or almost 13% families lives in Ontario. They are living in poverty.
Yeah.
So do you have what you have done so far, or do you have any specific plan for the low income families?
We have several things. I want to mention minimum wage.
Care,
So besides childcare, also for poor families, we've increased the minimum wage several times, and right now it's $14 an hour minimum wage. If we get reelected in January, minimum wage will be $15 an hour, because it's expensive to live in Scarborough Southwest. It's expensive to live in Toronto in general. So we've raised the minimum wage, which is very, very important for low-income families. One thing we've noticed, we've helped people that are low income. Usage of the food bank has gone down in the last year because people are going to the food bank to get food. They're not going as much because they're getting more money into the household, not just by minimum wage, but also by, for example, we have a child benefit credit. People with children can apply for child benefit to pay for the child if they're a low-income family. So they can get extra money from the government to provide for their children when the children are in a low-income family. So it's something that's very, very good, and I'm pleased our government has put that into place.
So how are those services user-friendly? Do you think that is very easy thing, or they have to go through a complicated process?
Well, they can always call my office. Every MPP, every member of provincial parliament has an office that with staff that help residents in their riding.
Yeah.
And I have an office. People call, and we can even direct them to a website if they have a computer or a smartphone, or we can do it for them. They can come into the office, and we can help fill out their application.
Okay.
And that's very
important. So you can pursue the case on their behalf.
Yes.
So we are about to finish. We have two more questions. Sure. I have here with me. We always talk about during this election about the Hydro one. Recently, they have increased their salary of their, the chairperson, their president, and the board members. So what is your take on that? Well,
I'm not happy that they increased their salaries. They are separate from the government. The actual hydro company is separate from us, and we have not supported the increase. Our government is not in favor of it, and we're trying to find a solution to stop that from happening. They make a lot of money, and they make much more than the average person makes. I get upset about that, and I think everyone has a right to be upset when they raise their salaries to large amounts, astronomical numbers of money. So, I think if we get reelected, it's something we want to stop. The problem is if we fire them, they get big packages, severance packages, which is a problem. So we have to introduce some kind of legislation to stop this from happening. I don't like it at all, and I don't think anyone likes it, except for those receiving the money.
Okay, thank you. So do you have anything in your mind that if you are elected next time, on 7th July, you will do something differently which you haven't tried earlier?
Well, I think, as I said, our government focuses on a few issues: healthcare and education, and also the environment. And that's a big issue, the environment. I believe in climate change. I would like to see more done to encourage people to, to plant a tree or to stop, find some way to stop polluting. The big companies have to stop polluting, and climate change is very important. It's worldwide. We shut down the coal plants here in Ontario, and that cleaned up the air a lot because we don't have smog days anymore. They used to have in summertime where the air was very bad. But I would like to see more done on climate change. More trees planted, because the trees actually produce oxygen, which is good for the environment. So I'd like to see more work done there, and more work done on poverty. More programs put into place. Go out there and talk to people that are in poverty situations, because no one should go to bed at night with an empty stomach. And unfortunately, in this riding, some people do, and in other parts of Ontario, they go to sleep without food in their stomach. And I think that is something that touches my heart. I would like to see it stopped, and make sure that people at least have meals, and no one suffers at nighttime or any time of the day when they don't have food available to them. There's nothing in the fridge either.
So thank you, Lorenzo. Most of our viewers, our listeners of our Radio Metro Mail, are Canadian Bangladeshi.
Yes.
Many of them, they speak Bangla. Do you have any specific message for them?
Well, they're a very big portion of my riding, and I want to continue working with them. As I mentioned, I passed a bill, Bangladesh Heritage Month. I would like more events to happen during the month of March. The Bangladeshi people are very friendly. The culture is very friendly, and people work in all kinds of. I find people from Bangladesh are involved in every sector of our economy, whether it be banking, or whether it be economists, or whether it be healthcare, or whether it be writers and journalists like yourself. Very unique in what they call the Bangladesh culture is that people get involved in every field, and they are very proud of their country, which is very good. And I want to continue working with the community, the Bangladesh community, and do much more for them in the future.
Okay, thank you very much, Lorenzo. Thank you very much. Viewers, you are watching Catch Up on Radio Metro Mail. We were talking to Mr. Lorenzo Berardenitti. He has been elected as MPP from Scarborough Southwest for last 4 terms. And thank you very much for watching our program. Next episode will bring our new guest. Until then, take care, stay well. Thank you very much.